Is that it? Yeah, there we go. Hey, look at us go. Look at us go. It's supposed to be way less work, and I'm up here just doing way more work. All right. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the healthcare guy because I don't think I've been on since healthcare guy got shot. We're going to talk a little bit about the racist meetings in Tennessee today. We've got a Titus video talking about Biden. And we got a very strangely titled Luke Beasley video called I Pounded a Trump Supporter for an Hour. I'm guessing Luke Beasley thinks he's funny. And he is funny, actually. So yeah, we're gonna watch some videos and we're gonna do our thing. And I got my book. So once again, also big things. That's right. New Brandon Sanderson book came out today. 1,350 pages. Says it's the longest book he's ever written. So I'm going to be enjoying that as well. Path of Exile 2 came out. So probably going to play a little bit of that on stream as well. Nick Fuentes. That's a good guess, Denny. What's happening, Calvin? That's a good guess, my friend. Luke Beasley pounded Nick Fuentes for 2 hours or 1 hour right after Destiny. Okay. All right. I think everything's working. I think. If it's not working, I don't know. Tell me, okay? Because I have no idea what's going on in my life right now. Oh, yeah, we're not on chat over here. All right, we're on chat over here now. All right, so first of all, I wanted to start by talking a little bit about the CEO thing. Obviously, my channel recently, since the election, has been a little bit more about talking about billionaires and talking about undue influence on politics and the disenfranchisement of the middle class, the growing wealth gap. So, this is like, obviously, sweet baby Jesus, 6 pound, 4 ounce sweet baby Jesus was like, here you go. Here's something that you can talk about because this is obviously right up my alley right now. And I think what we're seeing right now is a little bit of, an example of how people feel about like the current climate when it comes to people that are influencing not just politics, but our actual lives. And I think it's really funny that the media is responding with, can you believe how unempathetic these people are? Because I don't know if they remember when those people died in that submarine. But the memes were fire, okay? And we talked a lot of shit, okay, on those billionaires dying in that submarine. We thought it was hilarious. So I don't know how many times billionaires need to die or, CEOs of healthcare companies that deny 1/3 of all claims within their network. I don't know how many times the media needs to see us react by laughing at these people before they figure out that we don't have empathy for these people because it's impossible for everyday people to have empathy for billionaires or for CEOs of healthcare companies that deny people's cancer treatment claims. The reason this is to help the media out. The reason there's a lack of empathy is because to have empathy, you have to be able to put yourself in that person's shoes. You have to understand where that person it comes from, what they think, what they feel. And that is fucking impossible for an everyday person to put yourself, in the shoes of somebody like the CEO of United Healthcare. If I were that person, I would be a lot like the guy from The Incredibles, the dad from The Incredibles at the beginning. I would be strangling my boss every time he said no to somebody's cancer treatment being, paid for. It's insane that these guys haven't figured out yet. The reason that we don't have empathy for these peoples is because it's impossible to have empathy for a person that literally runs a company and makes money off of denying claims from people. That's something that most good human beings can't equate. They can't do it. I can't do it. When a bunch of billionaires get in a submarine that they were told not to get into, that was controlled by an Xbox controller, and then they go down thousands of feet to look at the wreckage of a ship that happened like forever ago. We laugh at that because we go, why would you do that? That's fucking dumb. That's why. That's why we make memes. That's why we laugh. That's why there is no empathy. Because at the end of the day, it's impossible to have empathy for people that you could never, ever understand how they live. It's impossible. It's fucking crazy to me to see all these media people. The bigly tears. Yeah, exactly. The trickle down is happening. 1/3 of all claims, 32%, 1 out of 3 people were getting their claims denied by this healthcare company. And you know what? CEOs of those healthcare companies should be scared. They don't want us to react in this way because it scares them. They don't want us to react in a way of applauding somebody taking this justice into their own hands, if that's what it is. We don't know yet, but if that's what it is. I'll tell you this right now. There are children every year. In fact, 2 of them, just the other day, you guys might not know this, but 2 of them in Northern California that were shot at a school. And those kids, I feel empathy for. They live our lives. They are our children. They have not denied the healthcare claims of 1 out of 3 Americans within their system. And I would trade 100 CEOs of healthcare companies for the lives of 2 children. If 2 kids could live, I could give a fuck less. And I don't think that people should be going out and doing this, right? Like, I'm not encouraging people to do this. What I'm saying is that it happened, and I operate off of what is and not what could be. Because tomorrow, if you're on the street and you get shot, there's a solid chance that they'll investigate your murder, and if they can't find the dude, it won't be in papers. It won't be covered by the news media. Your wife, your husband, will just be shit out of luck if the local police can't solve that murder. Your loved ones are shit out of luck. Just goes into a cold case file, and people just go, well, looks like that one got away. I think it's something like 50% of all murders are unsolved. It's something crazy. Don't quote me on that statistic. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But it's something crazy. And they want you to feel empathy. They want you to be like, turn this guy in. Turn this guy in. But at the end of the day, if that happened to you, no one, it wouldn't be in the news. It'd be in the news for maybe a day. It'd be in your local newspaper. But this guy is all across the media. I wonder why people can't find empathy for this. There are millions, at least thousands. I don't know how many Native American women came up missing, but there are Native American women in Moss that have came up missing that get less coverage than this story does. And do you think that they're out there, drilling this home on CNBC, MSNBC, or CNN, or Fox News? We got to find the people that have done these bad things to these Native American women? No, of course not. They don't care about that because they don't care about me. They don't care about you. They care about the CEO guy. And what we have, you see, the reason these people are scared is they're scared because people are saying it was a good thing. They're scared because people are making jokes. They're scared because people are saying, you know what? I might not have done that. I might not even say that it's a good thing for people to do. But I don't really care that it happened. And that's what they're scared of. And to be honest with you, they should be. Because if you look at the people that do school shootings, the kids that do school shootings, most of the time they're pretty fucked up kids, you know. But a lot of times they want notoriety. Ethan Crumbley, the kid in Michigan whose parents were put in prison for helping him get the gun. They went to prison. Ethan Crumbley, I believe is Ethan Crumbley. I might be getting the person wrong in this one. He turned himself in, or he surrendered, because he wanted to see the results of his actions, right? Really sick individual. He wanted notoriety. So a lot of these people, they want notoriety, okay? When this gentleman shot that CEO, he achieved a type of notoriety that most of these people wanted and didn't get, because what they did, it was horrific. It's terrible. They hurt children. And what these CEOs are scared of is that there's a bunch of people out there that would like to be notorious, that would like to go down in history, that would like to be remembered, that now may be thinking to themselves, you know what? Maybe if it's a CEO of a healthcare company, maybe I get the notoriety I wanted. And that's scary to them. But like I said, I would trade 100 CEOs for our kids being safe. 100 or more. So this is why they're scared. This is why they're scared. It's called the Highway of Tears. Hundreds of missing Indigenous women, and it barely gets mentioned. Hundreds. Okay. My statistics on that definitely old. Yeah. It's one of those things that, like I said, people can't get it through their heads in the news media because they're part of that machine. What we're seeing right now, to get on to the politics side of this, what we're seeing right now is techno-libertarianism being foisted upon the American people. We're potentially looking at the use of accelerationism in the chances of destroying the economy, upsetting the economy, and pushing forward things like AI. If you don't know what accelerationism is, we can go into that at one point. But accelerationism, the most basic idea of it is that billionaires and people in power believe that bad things are going to happen, so they're trying to make them happen faster, so that way they can rip the Band-Aid off. So when it comes to something like AI, they think, pushing as fast and as hard as possible before any type of regulation gets put in, that if they can just do that, they can rip the Band-Aid off and they can fix it. Or they don't. That's literally what they believe. It either all goes to shit or they win. But what's not being talked about in that area is that these people are playing with human beings' lives. These people, these ultra-wealthy billionaires, CEOs, corporate garbage, are capable of using my life, my children's life, your life, as a pawn in this game, because they can influence government, because we are in a techno-oligarchy. And people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel now have the reins to that oligarchy. And I think that you're going to continue to see, as Aristotle, prophesized, for lack of a better word, you're going to see people acting out. You're going to see people that don't even know that they are affected by what's going on acting out. And I think you're going to see it more often. I actually think it's going to happen more often. Because I think that, as Aristotle said, when the rich gain the amount of control that they have now, it's inevitable that the poor and the middle class revolt. And it's probably, as I said before the election, people asked me if I thought Republicans would do anything. And I said, well, you probably see small acts, right? And I think now you're going to see it on the other side. I think that you're, and this isn't political. This guy didn't, do this for political reasons. It's more about the real actual problem in America. The problem in America isn't the border. The problem in America is a wealth gap, a lack of health care, and a declining educational system, and a overstimulation of people and undereducation of people. And that will, in my opinion, lead to more types of acts like the one we saw with the CEO. So anyways, yeah, I love Greek philosophers. I've been reading a lot about Aristotle recently. Aristotle's my dude right now. I like Socrates and I like Plato as well. I just started looking at Plato. I know Plato was Aristotle's teacher, so it's kind of a new thing for me. Philosophers are kind of a new thing for me, but Aristotle is my favorite right now. And to be honest with you, he called all of this. He called it 2,000 years ago. He called this shit. They want you because they have all this AI and all the resources and power to control. They know you don't have all the stuff they have. Yeah, I don't think that they have firm control over what they think they do, though, yet. That's the one thing I will say, is I think they do want people to revolt, because I think they want people to revolt so that way they can enact certain legislation to, perhaps like put guardrails on your freedoms to keep you from, like, oh, we just have to do this. We have to do this kind of stuff. I don't doubt that that's true. But I don't think that they have as firm of control as they think they do on the tools that they're using when it comes to things like AI and stuff like that. I think that that's, as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure like that they have the idea, and I think they know. I think they know that they don't have the control. I think they have the idea of what they want to do with it, but where it's going to go from here is the real question, right? Like, and they don't know that. It's a singularity. They have no idea. Like, I mean, when you talk about AI, you talk about the potential of great good, where it could, it's already helping to create medicines, and it's already helping to solve issues, and obviously it can go the other way as well. So, yeah. I think if they have control of the food and the money, then they have control. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Junior? What's happening? Homer. I'm going to check out Homer. We'll have to check out some Homer. Yeah, America, the land of the unhealthy and not so free. 100%. All right. Let's not let me sit up here and wax poetically and scare the shit out of everybody. Let's watch some funny stuff. Let's make some jokes. And yeah, I think this is like, I thought that, to be honest with you, I thought my channel after the election would be still kind of going down the Trump route, and it will. Obviously, he's a player in this game. But the more I get into looking into the potential of oligarchy, techno-libertarianism, and accelerationism, the more I think that that's what I want to concentrate on. And we're still gonna have fun. We're still gonna do jokes. We're still, I'm gonna watch videos and make fun of crazy Trump supporters, but I feel like this is important, and I do think that people like Aristotle saw this coming, and I do want to continue to make this kind of like the central theme for the arc moving forward of this channel is techno-libertarianism, oligarchy, and accelerationism. And if you guys have seen the 4 Cycles, it's a book that I've been watching Hank Green and John Green lately, and they were talking about the 4 Cycles thing. I've actually watched a video on 4 Cycles a long time ago as well. And I don't 100% agree with the 4 Cycles theory, but I think that it has a pretty good foundation. It's a pretty solid logical foundation about people going through the 4 cycles and us being in the 4th cycle right now, and potentially whatever happens with AI and whatever happens with the global conflicts that are going on right now will determine what the new 1st cycle will be. So I don't completely agree with, there's some inconsistencies when they talk about how wars happen every 80 years and everything like that. There's some inconsistencies that are like kind of small-minded in my opinion, but very, very tunnel visiony. But it is, the foundation of the theory is pretty solid. If you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. The problem with the AI acceleration is just I think hoping it will make it magically accelerate. Yeah. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I'm going to be on Wednesdays and Saturdays for now until probably after the holidays. Maybe I'll pick it back up. But right now I'm so busy at work and with just life with family and everything that having multiple streams a week is just like way too much for me right now. I'm barely able to do the ones I do. So Wednesdays and Saturdays, though, I will be on. So let's watch this. This is the TikTok reacts to United Healthcare CEO holiday murder. So let's watch this real quick. Let's put this person's channel on the stream so that way we're giving props to whoever this is. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who Shar Henley is. I don't know if this is a channel you like. I just clicked on the channel. I don't condone what happened, but I understand why it happened. Yeah, exactly. Dusted. 100% dusted. Humans repeat history, and we're doing it this time we have high tech. Yep, I agree with that, Rob. 9-year-old. Yeah, Rob. Right now, AI is being completely wasted. It's like we're using it for the dumbest shit. There's like an argumentative AI bot that's out right now, and if you like post something on Blue Sky or X or anything like that, it'll actually like contradict whatever you say and argue with you, and it's literally a bot. You can go and look and see all the responses. So that's Shar Henley. I'll subscribe. I don't even know. We'll see if we like the video. Maybe we'll unsubscribe or unlike afterwards. But this is Shar Henley. We're watching their video, so I feel it's important to share their channel. So let's watch some people on TikTok reacting to it.
If you were laughing,
whoops, I knew I was gonna have at least one technical difficulty. Headphones. There we go. All right, ready? Here we go.
About a man being murked on the sidewalk outside of his 5-star hotel. DM me. We have the same sense of humor.
Oh, you think he's already looking up at us? You think this happened in or out of network? My insurance doesn't cover empathy.
Oh, I hope he doesn't get away. Oh, get that guy. Oh, no.
That's the realest reaction right there. Like, it's a lot like, okay, so the government believes that they've put these laws and guardrails in place, right? And the government believes that you've bought wholesale into needing to do your part within those laws. But as my friend Ruby said once in a talk we were having on Grey Pill's show, the police aren't there to stop crimes from happening. The police are there to try to investigate them after they happen. And really, what the people who do the job of making sure that crimes don't happen are people, citizens, everyday people. It's not cops. It's you. It's me. Because as long as we accept that doing those crimes is bad for society, then we will choose not to do them. So the conundrum or conflict comes up in this when something happens that you go, I don't know. Doesn't seem that bad to me. Because once again, without your help, the police have a really hard job. See, I grew up in the ghetto, okay? And when we did this beer run one time. We had taken some beer without paying for it, okay? Not to go too deep into it. And the police had chased us home. And we lived in the ghetto. So the police had to come down in the neighborhood. Not something they like to do. And we had dipped into the guy who's with me's brother-in-law's house. You know, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, cops are chasing us. You go, that's cool. Just go in the back. The cops came. Cops knocked on his door. He said, what do you want? Cop said, I know that some people came in here. And he said, no, they didn't. The guy said, well, I just going to take a look in your apartment. He said, do you have a warrant? No, you don't. Okay. Nope, you don't have probable cause. You can't come in here. Nope. And of course the cop left. You know, I'll come back. Come back. It's fine. You can come back. We'll be gone. You are the tool that gets used in this area to facilitate these laws being, handled, being the police doing their job. So there's a conundrum here when it comes to something like this, where you say to yourself, like, what if I don't want that person to be caught? What if, in my opinion, what he did was justified? What if, in my opinion, what he did shouldn't get him in trouble or get him put in prison? And I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that as a society, if that's what we do, you get to see the type of authority and power that you actually have as a populace. You can't stop them, but you can thwart them. And I do think that this is going to be important moving forward. If America becomes an oligarchy, then its citizens must recognize the power and authority that they hold. Because the greatest form of control is keeping you afraid, keeping you weak, unaware of your power. That's how something like an oligarchy can be used to lay the yoke upon the neck of society. And I think that people should look at this, whether you agree with what the man did or not. You should look at it and say to yourself, oh, you know what? We do have some power. This is why I get mad when people say I'm not going to vote. This is why I get mad when people say, oh, both sides are the same. This is why I tell you guys there's these lies that we've told ourselves, but they didn't originate with us. They originated from outside of us. They originated from people that had power that wanted us to believe that we don't have power, that we don't make a difference. And I think people need to understand from this happening that even though you might not have the amount of power we wish we had, you do have some. And when you fucking Captain Planet it, Voltron it, and with our powers combined, we can make a difference. We can do things that some of society doesn't think is the right thing. We can do things that could make the world a better place. It's just up to us to really decide how we're going to choose to use the authority and power that we have. So, that's for me, that's the most pertinent of reactions. Oh, no, he might get away. Oh, God, no.
Killed people's grandparents for money.
People's reaction to the CEO of United Healthcare being gunned down in broad daylight, that lack of empathy that people are giving him, that's what happens when you dehumanize others. Eventually, you dehumanize yourself.
Exactly. And this is what's not being played out in the media, is there's a whole lot of oh, well, these people are bad people for not, crying about this, not, mourning the loss of another human being. You could say that if those were children in a school. And I think that that's generally the feeling, at least on the left, for most people. And I believe even people on the right are saddened by it. They just don't seem to be willing to take the steps to make it not happen anymore. People should be sad when somebody that they feel empathy for, or somebody is a victim of a crime that would in some way entail that it could happen to them or somebody that they love. That's how you have empathy for others. This was a person that was a part of a company that denied 1 out of 3 claims. He did something that humans shouldn't do, and therefore when he died, no one was like, oh, we lost something, because we don't feel like we lost something. In fact, we feel like we gained something.
So unless you've been under a rock for the past 72 hours, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was recently taken out by a man with a silencer on a sidewalk in Manhattan. He was on his way to an important shareholder meeting when the attack occurred. The wildest thing about the situation isn't the blacklist or B613 style efficiency of the attacker, which was like something out of a movie, but the fact that the United Healthcare CEO...
You gotta admit the dude, whether you appreciate what he did or not, he did that shit well. The dude had a silencer. He shot from, what is that, maybe 8-10 feet away, right? A mortal wound, okay? Apparently, the phone he dropped was a burner phone. Okay, like that. At first, I was like, first mistake. You don't bring your cell phone with you. Okay, not that I'm giving. This is not murder advice, by the way. Usually, I have to say this is not financial advice. This is not healthcare advice. This is not committing a crime advice. Just so everybody knows, allegedly. But he did drop a phone, but it was a burner phone. And somehow this man has evaded capture in a city that is covered with cameras. It is absolutely mind-boggling, and I think it also shows, like, the inefficiency of our law enforcement. Like, we give them way too much credit. We are so concerned that if we steal a candy bar from a grocery store, that we are going to prison for the rest of our lives. Meanwhile, this dude is like, watch this. Hold my beer.
Was dead by 6:45 a.m. And not 1 hour later, the interweb was already aflame, completely losing what
sounds
little
like
proof
advice.
it had left.
Reverend.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint
God
Mobile.
damn it,
And one
Ryan
of the
Reynolds.
perks about having 4 kids that
I'm going
you
to
know
get
about
premium just
is-
so that way Ryan Reynolds can jump up on my stream.
Yeah.
Has America's empathy
What the
gone
fuck was that? I don't
MIA,
even
or is
understand
this
what that
just
was.
another symptom of late-stage capitalism? In
I
this
don't
video,
understand
we're
how to
diving
TikTok.
into some of the wildfire reactions on social media and unpacking how they connect to the lid finally blowing off the pressure cooker that is America. Let's get into it.
You are the CEO of a health
Is this AI? Is she AI? Is Shar AI? I'm sorry, Shar. If you're not AI, I apologize.
care company that is as successful as companies like Amazon and Walmart. Thoughts and prayers, but actually I submitted them and they were denied and they were actually out of network. So good luck with that.
This person commented, thoughts on denied coverage. It's not really an urgent manhunt. It needs to go to claims first.
And you know what? Like, here's the thing about comedy. It's funny because it's true. It's funny because it's honest. That's what's funny about this, is that this isn't like, this is dark humor, 100%, which is my kind of humor. Okay? But the reason that it's funny is because, you know what? Somewhere out there, there's someone that's been told that they're too old to get a surgery, that it's not worth the money of the insurance company to replace their knee. You're just going to die soon anyways. That's how they treat you. Look, if Jeff Bezos died tomorrow, the only people that would shed any tears would be his family, right? His friends. But the rest of society knows that the man built a corporation and became one of the richest people in the world off the backs of low-wage labor. No one in those warehouses is going to shed a tear. No one that's a middle-class person that gets up every morning and works 5 days a week, sometimes 12, 14 hours a day during Christmas to get zero bonus, to not have health care benefits. None of those people are going to feel a single feeling of sadness. But you know what they are going to find? They're going to find humor in it, because there's going to be lots of fucking jokes that are connected to Amazon or going to space or being a bald white man.
That's a 3 to 4 week processing time. And I really thought that this blue sky conversation really nailed the heart of the issue. This person says, I'm
Sometimes
a very
you don't
empathetic
want it.
person, but
That's
these
true,
people who
that's
just
true.
take, and never see justice is infuriating. I honestly don't understand my anger right now, but it is real. And Leftoid Supreme comments, the anger you're
Yeah, and like I said, that's because, once again, if these were children, you would hear an outpouring of sadness, right? Like, it should fucking click logically to anybody in the media why this reaction is what it is. Because this isn't how people react when a mother perishes, or a child perishes, or a good person. When entertainers or celebrities that haven't been fucking accused of SA or haven't, like, domestically violenced their significant other, when they pass away, we all have an outpouring of sadness and mourning, even for people that didn't, like, know anything about them. When Betty White died, dude, all we knew about Betty White, most of the people that were mourning Betty White, the only thing that they knew about Betty White was that she was old and potentially cool. And there were some really fucking fire memes, okay? Sadness, mourning, okay? It should click to you if you're in the media And every single person is going, who cares? There's a reason. And you're a journalist. Perhaps you should do some journalizing.
What you're feeling is because you know that this man was a murderer. He had final say over life or death for millions of people and chose death in 32% of cases for shareholder
I'm
profits.
definitely not sure about
You were
everyone's
justified and
morals.
righteous in your anger. Getting paid when you kill people normally makes someone a hitman. And the first poster responds, I think the gun debate too. We can't talk about banning assault rifles when children are getting slaughtered, but a CEO getting murdered?
No, I thought about that. I was like, you guys want to know the quickest way for guns to actually get banned? Holy shit. Imagine if all of these people, what is the statistic? It's something like when people lobby for legislation to be passed, it's passed like 96% or 99% of the time. When big money lobbies for something, if you include the populace into that equation, it doesn't move the needle at all. And if you remove them from that equation, it also doesn't move the needle at all. If CEOs got scared that they weren't going to be able to go out on the street and not get shot, guns would be banned across the United States of America in like fucking a month. Like that legislation would shoot through Congress, the Senate, and would be signed by the president in no time at all. Because the moment that these guys actually have to suffer, you think any of these guys' kids go to schools where mass shootings happen? No. They go to private schools. Their kids have all the reasons in the world to live. They don't need to worry about trying to be notorious. I guarantee you, a couple CEOs get shot. AR-15, no one will have a gun.
We can't have that in polite society.
Someone commented yesterday on another video saying that this guy basically during his tenure as CEO has essentially killed more people than any American serial killer.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There is a distinction unfortunately made when you're doing it in an industrial, hyper-capitalist, even militarized
it would
setting,
be
where
insane
it is
if it
okay
happened.
to kill as many people as possible, especially if money is your bottom line. Even the media framing up his death as an assassination and framing up his killer.
Yes, once again, when you think about this critically, people don't want you to think about it like this because, and I understand why, it's a very human thing to do. They don't want you to think about it like this because they don't want it applied to them, right? Like, oh, you deserve to die. Like, they don't want you to apply that to them, so that's why they push that out there even when it comes to this guy. But when you say to a person, I'm sorry, but we just don't want to pay for you to get cancer treatment, you're killing that person. When there is healthcare available, when there is medicine available, when there are surgeries or pacemakers, there are tools to keep you alive, and you tell people, well, I just don't want to pay for that for you, even though you pay me, you're murdering people. You are. And that is just as bad as just doing it yourself. Like, I know that's like a super philosopher question, like the moral conundrum of like, if you just walk away from somebody drowning in a river, did you participate? You know, if you could jump in and save them, or is it your job to do so? But there's a social contract that every one of us signs. Not literally, but with our thoughts. Like Trump, when he declassified those documents in Florida, we sign it with our thoughts, just like he did, okay? And in doing that, what you're actually saying is, I would save you if you were drowning, because I would want you to save me, or to save my child, or to save my wife, or my loved one, or my friend, if you were in the same place. Because this is where my basis for morality comes from. My basis for morality doesn't come from religion. My basis for morality comes from two books, The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt, which explains emotions and how we use them and how we have centers in our brain that are affected by chemicals that cause us to do certain things, all for the proliferation of the human race. The other book is William von Hippel's Social Leap, which talks about the alternative theory of evolution, where, not evolution as an alternative theory, but an alternative theory in evolution, that our brains doubled in size not because of opposable thumbs, but because of the need for social acceptance and etiquette. and that we learned that if you kill Bob while he's asleep and take his meat, then there's just as good of a chance from anybody else within your tribe, your hunter-gatherer tribe, that they could kill you in your sleep and then just take the meat from you. It's a social contract that says, I do not want you to do things to me, so I don't do things to you, and we all live within these boundaries, and we get to have good, happy lives because our brains like it when we do certain things and give us certain chemicals that make us go, oh, that's fun. What's happening, Mikey Decrepit? Do I think socialized medicine might have prevented this? I mean, that's a solid... the second book was The Social Leap, Unknown. The Social Leap by William von Hippel. It's a real small book. It's a cool read, though. Great read. Do I think socialized medicine might have stopped it? Until we know exactly why the guy did what he did, I don't know the answer to that. But I would say this. Yes, if the reason that this man took this other man's life was because of some type of denial of service, which it seems, due to the things he engraved on the bullets, that it was, that he lost a loved one or something like that. Yeah, because I think that these people, I don't know that they're immoral people or if they're just morally blind, if that makes any sense. Like, they just don't want to see that what they're doing is immoral. Like, they know it is, but they don't want to see it. So they go on about their day. Because, like, it's like the atrocities in World War II, right? There's probably somebody that was in Hitler's army that was probably morally conflicted with the things they were doing, but they were so far away from the actual act of it happening that they just made themselves morally blind. They just acted as though it didn't exist. So it's one of the problems that we have in today's warfare. Today's warfare, you have kids, I say kids, young people, that are operating drones from a center, sometimes hundreds of miles away from targets, that then take the lives of children, take the lives of innocent people, and sometimes take the lives of their actual target. So once again, there's a little bit of moral blindness to that because, yeah, like during Obama's reign, during Trump's reign, during Bush's reign, like there were so many drone attacks between those three presidents that took the lives of innocent civilians, yet in many ways, people that were doing them were morally blind because they're not anywhere near it, right? But I think we know that. Those of us, like, that's why you have such a pushback on the left against the drone strikes and stuff of the Obama era, even though he's a Democratic president, right? Is because we know morally it's not correct to do that. And so I think that if the shooter had something in his past that this gentleman had a effect on, then yeah, I think that if you had socialized healthcare, you would have a system in place where people wouldn't be blaming individuals for the loss of life of their loved ones. It would be, we need to fix the system, right? We need to fix the system. And that is where we're at now, is we need to fix the system. But in a privatized healthcare environment, guys like this are going to take the blame. And a lot of times they should take the blame because they're the ones that make the decisions not to pay for these things or to institute programs like this guy. Something like 90% of the claims that the AI denies that this guy employed were errors or incorrect. Like, that's fucking insane. Like, that should fucking, if I'm that person, I'd be like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, I can't believe that people have passed because I have used this machine, to make more money for my shareholders, and it was an error, and now all these people's like, I don't know how I would live with myself if I instituted an AI that denied claims and 90% of them were errors. I don't know how I would live. Like, there are children that were affected by this. I don't think that socialized healthcare would completely solve the issue, but I do think it would make it better. If it's not having me, yep, I don't see.
When, again, there's no real distinction between the two of them. By definition, a hitman's being paid to kill someone, and Mr. Brian Thompson was being paid and incentivized into the millions of dollars
Popcorn
to
and
kill
a pistol,
lots of
Benny.
people. Deny
Popcorn
their
and a
claims,
pistol.
make their healthcare unaffordable. We do eventually need to figure out a new word for healthcare because there is no care involved, and put a dollar amount on their access to life-saving care. It sounds like the same thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is something people on the right don't get, why people on the left are so passionate about this. And when people say healthcare is a human right, it is a human right. And the reason that it is a human right is exactly or is 100% what I'm talking about when I talk about that social contract. The social contract that you sign says, if we have the availability, the tools, the knowledge to save your life, then we should take that step to save your life. Because in the same spot, I would hope that you would do it for me or my loved ones or my friends as well. Like that's that social contract. When the left says that healthcare is a human right, that's what they mean. They mean that the betterment of society is human beings being taken care of, because if I'm taken care of, then I want to take care of you. And if you're taken care of, you should want to take care of me. Healthcare exists in a form today that we have never seen in the history of the world, and it's only supposedly, if we could stop using AI to make chatbots on Facebook, going to get better because of AI. And what are we going to say? It's that Elysium movie, isn't it? Where the guy, I think he has a kid or something like that has cancer, but it's not treatable on Earth because Earth is just literally just a factory for the rich, and they all live in this big ring. And he's like fighting to like get onto this ring because they have these like cribs pretty much that you or tubes you put the person in. And it like just scans you and finds all the bad things in your body and just fixes them. And yet, like, nobody's even using them up there. They're all super fucking healthy and good to go. And down on Earth, all these people are dying. Like, I know that that's a movie and I know that's fantasy, but the moral quandary still exists in the form today, in a form today. And that is, we do have medicines. We do have healthcare. We do have doctors that are capable. All of these things are readily available and should be accessible to anybody, not based off of wealth, not even based off of citizenship. It is one thing to say if our healthcare programs become so overwhelmed. This is the argument they use for Canada, and I've talked to people in Canada that say that this is a bullshit American argument. But if our healthcare system became so overwhelmed from people outside the country using our healthcare system, then we could have conversations about limiting outside healthcare. But really, it's not an American right. It's a human right to access healthcare. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're the lowest of the poverty-stricken or the highest of the uber wealthy. Should be an even playing field, the same way that the law should be an even playing field. If I go to jail for something, you should go to jail for something. If I get put on trial for something, you should be put on trial for something. If you get health care, I should get health care. This is where the right completely loses the plot. It's not about being left. It's not about being right. It's about being human, and you should have access to that healthcare.
He wasn't able to go gloat to his shareholders and investors and tell them about how much money
that's true, baby.
The aforementioned was going to make them, because he got murked before he can do that.
And the internet is not letting up.
Not free. No, I agree. Something it just said. I agree with that. I don't get into all the trans surgery stuff like that because that's like not my wheelhouse, and I feel like I would just spread disinformation or misinformation. So a lot of times I allow my subscribers that are trans to talk about that instead of me. I have some friends that are trans that I've asked questions about, and I still don't feel like I'm great about that kind of stuff. But what I would say is, yes, I think that specifically if access becomes limited because of how many people need access to healthcare, like cosmetic surgeries, you should have to pay for those types of things unless they're medically necessary, right? Like, what is it? Was it Michael Phelps? Was he the guy who had the concave chest? Or no, it was the other guy that was the swimmer at the same time as him. He had the concave chest, and he wouldn't be able to survive past a certain age unless that was fixed. Those types of surgeries, though they would be cosmetic, I would say it should be accessible. But as far as like boob jobs or top surgery or bottom surgery, unless it's like medically necessary, no, I would not say that those need to be covered.
Body at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
That
Like
was somebody's
plastic
grandchild.
surgery for your nose would
I
only
don't
be
know
if
this
like
for a
it
fact,
inhibited your
but I
ability to
believe it
breathe,
in
right?
that somebody's granny passed because that insurance company denied her whatever medications or procedure that she needed, and somebody's grandchild avenged her passing. 7 o'clock in the
That's a
morning.
possibility.
Thoughts, prayers.
I'm no cop, thank Jesus.
Now we're all gonna look a little bit funny if this doesn't turn out to be that kind of story. I will say that. If it turns out to not be that kind of story, and dude just like owed dude some money or something like that, I mean, I still don't think there's going to be a lot of empathy for the CEO dying, but maybe there's probably not going to be as much like hero worship of the guy who did the deed.
But that person who gunned down the CEO.
Yeah, so Cypher, that's what I mean is I would not say that if something is necessary for something to happen to save a person. Like, I know the argument in the trans surgeries usually is that, like, because of dysphoria, like, that can lead to a person taking their own life. Like, that's the argument if I understand the argument correct. I could completely misunderstand the argument. And so, like, in that case, I think stuff like that would be medically necessary, right? Like, that would just be my opinion, but I'd be open to having a further conversation about it. Whenever I talk about these things, I always like to make sure that I qualify it by making sure that people know that I don't fully know enough about the subject to really have, like, an educated opinion on it. And so anything I say is strictly opinion and is not set in stone. Like, it's just an opinion, and it's based off of a very basic form of information that I currently have. It's not anything that's nuanced at this point.
They were definitely insured by United for sure. I make that assumption based on one thing, and that's the fact that the pistol jammed. They unjammed it.
Thanks,
and
Kelly.
continued
I appreciate
in
that.
broad daylight in Manhattan.
Show your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful gift.
Oh, okay. This is weird.
To my daughter, never forget that I love you.
Why was she crying in two times speed? Why was she crying in 2 times speed? Okay, hold on. Let's watch the Humanist Report one on this, because this one was better. Like, the TikTok, I don't do the TikToks, man. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't care that TikTok's getting banned. Hot take, guys. I know you guys are TikTokers. I know some of you guys like it. But I can't TikTok, bro. It's just like, it's way too short for me. I can't do reels. I can't do shorts. I can't do TikToks. Like, I need, like, long form stuff. Like, I have literally a 1,400 page book next to me because, like, for the same reasons of what I just said about trans surgeries, right? Like, I do not deal in small amounts of information. Like, I can't stand it. Like, all small amounts of information do to me is make me want a lot more information. And to me, the TikTok thing's kind of cringe. It's cringy. I don't know. Okay, don't hate me. I know, like, half of you just unsubscribed. The kids are coming for me. My fucking daughter's probably going to poison me in my sleep. How dare you talk against our Lord and Savior, the TikTok.
That's Brian Thompson right there, the CEO of United Healthcare. He was shot and killed while outside the Hilton
Damn
Hotel.
right, Paul. TikTok sucks.
United
Damn right,
Healthcare,
Rob.
Of course, one of the largest corporations in America.
We're told that Thompson was headed to a conference for United Healthcare that was...
I saw a meme, and I don't know if this is true or not. But they said that the meeting went on as planned. Like, dude, I remember, what was it? A Bengals game, right? Bengals Bills, where that guy died on the field, but was brought back or whatever. His heart stopped. He didn't die. He wasn't clinically dead, but his heart stopped, right? And, like, I think they were gonna try to play the game, and then they didn't, and people, like, freaked the fuck out. They're like, why would you even try to play that game? Like, somebody literally, their heart stopped on the field. It's time to, like, be human beings and fucking walk away and take a timeout. Like, we had the wherewithal to say, stop playing football because somebody almost died. These guys, if that shit's true about the meeting, that's how little they cared about this dude. Like, they were just like, so anyways, we need to talk about where we're putting our money before Trump gets in office. So, I don't know. Anybody want to talk for Steven? Like, they didn't care that this motherfucker died, okay?
Expected to happen in the ballroom of
yeah,
that
I think
hotel,
it was in Buffalo, yeah.
Of the Hilton there in
Everything
Midtown,
has to do with football.
when there was a gunman
I can
who
trace
fired
everything
shots
back to
about
football.
20 feet away from him as he was approaching that hotel.
We don't have
20 feet. 20 feet. I was just at the range. I can tell you, I probably couldn't hit that shot. I probably would have hit him right in his left butt cheek. Okay? I'm just gonna be fucking honest with you guys. 20 feet away, I can tell you, I was dropping. Okay? Shots were in the groin area. There was a couple upper body, but for the most part, it looked like I was trying to take somebody's dick off. All right? If I was the potential assassin on that day, that man would have survived, but he would have been like, he would have lost like half his left butt cheek. I would have blown it right the fuck off. Okay. He would have never sat the same. He would have sat like this for the rest of his life. Or, you know, with the kind of money he had, he probably would have got himself a plastic prosthetic butt cheek. Okay. A synthetic one. Probably would have AI and shit, would tell him when he's going to poop. Like that's what would have happened. 20 feet away. That's a pretty good shot. Okay.
Anything on the way of motivation, yet the police are
expertise.
saying that they think it could be a targeted hit, that the gunman was lying in wait. If this was a conference that had been announced in
My
advance,
wife's a
perhaps he
Packers
then
fan,
knew
Vinny.
the CEO was going to be there. That would explain why he struck at this moment.
As you saw, there's no clear indication yet as to what the motive was for Thompson's assassin, and there still isn't at the time that I record this video. Although, if you look at the YouTube comment section for those news reports that we just watched, a lot of people are making some educated guesses. For example, the top 2 comments on CNN's video say,
if
you make a lot of enemies denying healthcare to people, and another person adds, sounds like they denied someone's treatment, they died, a family member wanted revenge, and blamed the CEO. And on the subject of motives, some comments on MSNBC's video echo that same point. What would anyone have against the CEO of a healthcare corporation? Another person adds, one of the first times that the list of prime suspects would be in the millions. Yeah, and I have so many more comments to show you, but to their point, as journalist Ken Klippenstein points out, United Healthcare denies nearly a third of all claims that they receive, giving them the highest rate of claim denials of all.
Like, this is not the top of the pyramid that you wish to be upon. Look at Kaiser Permanente. Good job, Kaiser. Only 7 out of 100 for Kaiser. Only 7. Even then, like, I struggle with why the fuck healthcare isn't covering whatever the fuck I want them to cover. If I pay you money and I want to have a 5.5 foot long penis, okay? If I pay you money, you should have to fucking insure me for that. That's the way I feel about that. Like, that's one thing I will say. As far as cosmetics and stuff go, if I'm giving you money on a month-to-month basis and I have literally given you thousands of dollars over the years, like, I should just be able to walk the fuck into whatever doctor I want and be like, give me everything. I want all of them. I want the TRT, the HGH. I want an 8-foot-long phallic symbol of my manhood. That's crazy to me. But this right here, look, if you work for Medica, Anthem, or CareSource, don't go outside, dog. All right? This is advice. Okay? This is advice. If you work for any of the top 5 right here, 20% or above, you probably shouldn't go outside for a while. Like, I would stay inside, go ahead and binge you some Game of Thrones or some Arcane or House of the Dragon, really good as well. Get you a Brandon Sanderson book that's 1,400 pages. Like, for sure, stay inside the house for a little bit. Let this shit calm down, because you fucked.
health insurance companies. And as this Ars Technica headline points out, they also use an AI model with a 90% error rate to deny care to people, which means that the Americans who pay them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single month aren't getting the health care that they're paying for. They're being ripped off. And it's not just bad enough that they're being ripped off. These insurance denials results in medical bankruptcy or death. And as the American Bankruptcy Institute points out, medical...
Yeah, and that's like, you want to talk about like, I mean, for some people this isn't going to be true, but in my opinion, it's a fate worse than death, is to build your entire life, to spend 30, 40 years working your ass off to just put away some money at all, to then have your loved one, say your wife, get cancer, and then to go bankrupt because you have to, you sell your house, you fucking, everything you own, like everything you've worked for goes away. And believe me, like I would trade everything I have for the life of my wife. I'd trade everything I have for the life of my children. So I don't believe it'd be a fate worse than death for me, but for some people it is. And for some of those people, they spend every dollar, they sell their home, they drain their savings account, and then their loved one passes away. They're left with nothing, literally nothing. And some of them, like, I mean, we live in a day and age where it's like a person's like, I have nothing left to live for, and we're like, you can't take your own life. We fucking fleeced you for everything that you had and made you watch your wife die. And also, we need you to stay here. It's a fucking wild world out there,
medical debt
man.
is one of, if not the most
Later,
common
Reverend.
cause of bankruptcy in
Hope
the
you feel
United
better,
States.
man.
And a report published by the Kaiser Family Foundation estimates
you
that
too.
14 million Americans, that's nearly 6% of all adults, owe at least $1,000 in medical debt, and 3% owe more than $10,000 in medical debt. And if you're wondering why lawmakers aren't fixing the system, well, it's because these same blood-sucking insurance companies that rip us off and kill us have completely captured our entire government. In fact, United Health spent more than $5.8 million in
$5.8 million. A lot of people will never make $5.8 million in their life. And they spent that to make sure that you never have the health care that you want. In 1 year. 1 year! They spent $5.8 million. Jesus
2024
Christ.
alone, lobbying both Republicans and Democrats. Their beneficiaries included Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and both the DNC and the RNC.
2 out of 3
So they're really
GoFundMes
making
for
sure to
medical
cover all their
expenses.
bases. And as
Well,
journalist Ken
libertarians probably
Klippenstein
had it
points
right.
out again, they're the top campaign contributor to dozens of politicians. So in case it wasn't already painfully obvious, I don't have much sympathy
Jesus,
for
dude, I'm
Thompson,
sorry to hear
and
that.
I don't think you should either. In fact, you should save that sympathy for his victims, because this man became a multi-millionaire by profiting off of the suffering of working class people. And his company is...
And that, my friend, is the point. This isn't... There's lots of people out there that we don't like, right? Like, I mean, if Diddy got shot, I'd probably be like... Look, when Epstein passed away within his jail cell, even though I may or may not believe that he did not do that to himself, okay? Yeah, that's one of my conspiracies I'm for, okay? Shrug my shoulders anyways. Well, oh well. You know, whether they did it or he did it. Bad person, don't give a fuck. World's a better place without him, right? Like, there's just going to be certain people that it doesn't matter how much you shout it from the top of the rooftop and say, you guys are all bad people for not showing empathy for this human being. It's just, you're not going to get it. Look, when Epstein died, he probably had family members, loved ones that were like, they were sad, okay? You're not going to convince me to have empathy, even if he didn't take his own life, even if somebody else did it. I still don't have any empathy for him. Zero. Now, I can't. I'm looking at my soul.
Directly and indirectly responsible for the deaths of countless Americans.
Empathy.
So I'm going to try my
around the
best to
corners
filter
and
my
shit.
thoughts throughout the course of this conversation because
Yep,
I don't
so-
want to
you
end
know what
up
I'm
on the
saying,
FBI's
Cypher.
watch list or something, but just look into my eyes. You know what I'm thinking. Okay, we're all thinking it. If Satan chooses to recall one of his demons back to hell, you don't have to feel...
We're told that Thompson.
God damn it. I love that take. Like, isn't that's like the religious people, right? Like they say God called back one of his his angels to heaven. That's pretty funny.
Republicans and Democrats. Their beneficiaries included Kamala Harris, Donald
Epstein
Trump, and both
probably,
the DNC and the RNC. So they're really making sure to cover all their bases.
OJ died, no
and as
empathy.
journalist Ken Klippenstein points out again, they're the top campaign contributor to dozens of politicians. So in case it wasn't already painfully obvious, I don't have much sympathy for Thompson, and I don't think you should either. In fact, you should save
I
that
didn't
sympathy
even know
for
his
his
name.
victims, because this man became a multimillionaire by profiting off of the suffering of working class people. And his company is directly and indirectly responsible for the deaths of countless Americans. So I'm going to try my best to filter my thoughts throughout the course of this conversation because I don't want to end up on the FBI's watch list or something, but
I'm pretty sure I'm already on the watch list, so it's all good.
just look into my eyes. You know what I'm thinking. Okay, we're all thinking it. If Satan
Look
chooses
deep
to
into
recall one
Mike's
of his
eyes.
demons back to hell, you don't have to feel sad about that and offer your condolences and sympathies and thoughts and prayers. In fact, if it makes you smile, that's okay too. You're not a bad person if you react positively to the death of a killer. In fact, I'd say it makes you a reasonable human being who's justifiably outraged at the cruelty and lack of justice in this world. And guess what? You're not alone because Americans reacted to this man's death in that same way. Tabitha Chow shared some screenshots of comments on TikTok that speak to just how Americans feel about this. Quote, I'm sorry prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. Another person says, sending prior authorization denied claims, collections, and prayers to his family. Was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an actual emergency.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is how disconnected our media is from society. Our media is media-splaining. I just made that up. They are media-splaining to average, everyday Americans why it doesn't matter that your husband had to pay $3,000 out of pocket after having a heart attack. You should still feel bad for this person. They don't understand that there are people right now that are fucking white-knuckling it through life because either they have cancer or their child has cancer or their loved ones have cancer, and they don't know whether or not they're going to get the help they need. They know it's available, but they don't know whether or not they qualify to get the help that they need. And the media is like, well, if you're a good person, you still feel bad for this guy. Oh, fuck off. Are you serious? Like, this person is talking about their husband having a heart attack, and then after you get out, you're like, oh, thank God I lived. I feel so good. And they're like, yes, we're happy you lived too because you owe us $3,000. Oh, I'll try to... Do you have a debit card on you? Like, because I guarantee you right now, you don't pay that $3,000. They don't just, like, let you go on that. Oh, it's chill. It's Bob. He's a good dude. He'll pay us sooner or later. No, they send fucking collections to you. Like, the fact that they think that people should have empathy just shows something that we saw during the election, we were well aware of, but it's like they just want to beat us over the fucking head with a hammer to just be like, hey, if you guys didn't know it, we have no fucking idea what real life is like.
See,
our media
and we
is
were out of
such garbage.
$3,000, full deductible. It's crazy what my first thought was, and
My
then I looked
policy
at the
doesn't cover
comments and
empathy.
realized I'm
Goddamn
not
right,
alone in
Joe.
my thoughts. I just can't find the care. Maybe if they ask for
I
pre-approval
agree,
of my
Vinny.
care,
We don't have
then
media
after they
anymore.
pay their required deductible, I might be able to supplement some care. I can't even pretend to care. I hope he's looking up at us.
I hope he's looking up at us. That's my favorite. I know. I hope he's looking up at us. The hospitals are charging that money. Yeah. But they're all in the same league together, right? Like, I agree with you that it's the hospital that's charging that money. but the hospital charges those amounts because the insurance allows it, right? Like, and our government, I mean, you can, like I've said before, it's never one thing, as me and Rains got into it the other day about water. It's never just one thing. And that's why, like, a lot of times these types of conversations really drive me nuts when I have them with people in chat about, like, certain things, like, specifically, like, conspiracy theory, right? It's because people always want to believe it's just one thing, right? So you're right. Like, it's not just what I'm talking about. It's also the hospitals. It's also the way that we've made healthcare profitable. We've made doctors not people who want to be engaged in taking care of people and helping people be healthier, but instead we have incentivized them to profit off of either your ill health or incentivize them towards giving you, medicines or treatments that you don't need, right? So it's the hospitals, it's the insurance companies, it's the way we've incentivized being a doctor. And to be honest, it all also goes all the way down to the voter and what we've convinced everyday people. And that is that healthcare isn't a human right. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Like, if you can't work hard enough, you shouldn't be able to live. Like, that's such a wild thing to say, because it's like you're saying to people that every single aspect of them as a person and whether or not that totality then deserves to have a human right. Right? Like, that's the incentive. That's why, like, it's like, what is it? Somebody said, I'd rather 100 bad men go free than one good man die, right? Like, that's a quote on corporal punishment or capital punishment, right? And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, I would rather 100 people that didn't deserve to get healthcare than one person that deserves to have it not get it, right? Like, that's how I feel about that. But like I said, it's so many different things. But for the most part, one of the biggest things is the monetary value of healthcare. Like, privatized healthcare is, profitable healthcare is just not. I can't get with it.
Goddamn. There's more. My only question is, did the CEO of United Healthcare die quickly or over several months waiting to find out if his insurance would cover his treatment for the fatal gunshot wound? Sharon Zhang reshared an old post of hers about United Health where she tweeted, "Good news, everyone. If I want to get out-of-network care this year, I only have to pay a maximum of $1 million out of pocket."
Yeah, and that's just saying, like, you're not getting out-of-network healthcare.
Now, I actually want to stop and explain this for international viewers who might not really know what she's referencing here. Like, so when you buy health insurance in America, you are limited to a network of physicians that you're able to see. If you go out of that network, your insurance isn't going to cover that. And then you've got to pay for that healthcare out of pocket. And it is very, very spendy. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Just stay in your network. And on paper, that makes sense. But in practice, it's really hard. In fact, where I live right now, I'm really lucky because I got in with my doctor like 5 years ago. And now it's almost impossible for people to find doctors up here because they're not taking any new patients. And once again, it's just one of these things where it's like, if I pay money for something, I should be able to go to whatever doctor I want. Like, that's one of the things I disagreed with Obamacare, right? Was that, like, there was certain doctors you couldn't go to, and it did cut down the ability to go to, like, doctors that people had been seeing, like, their entire lives and stuff like that. I don't believe it was as bad as it was exaggerated to be, but I do believe that some people did have some issues with that. And I don't agree with that. I think that if I pay you money, I should be able to go to whatever fucking doctor I want to go to. This shouldn't be a question. And then once again, this is the problem, is it's like, well, we only work with these doctors, or, you know, that they're under contract with us. And it's like, once again, it's profit. We've worked out contracts with these doctors to do these things, and we don't give a shit what you want. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's one of the only services that you pay money to, and they're like, yeah, you have to give us your money, and we also don't give a shit whether or not you like what we give you.
That's fucking insane.
Practice, it's not so simple because
Seven
the
and on.
doctor's
Seven,
office
Randy.
that's closest to you isn't necessarily going to be the one that's in your network. For example, my health insurance actually went up this year, so now I'm paying more than $900 for 2 people. But if I wanted to buy a more affordable plan, well, the closest doctor in that network that's more
Yeah, I
affordable
think that might
is
have been
30
it,
minutes
Owen.
away
You
from
might be
me.
right.
So in order to
I'm
keep
not
my
100%
primary
on
care
that.
physician that I have now and continue to go to the clinic that's closest to my home, I had to eat the cost increase because it was effectively the only choice that I had. Now, that's not even the worst case scenario here. Let's say you're unconscious and somebody calls an ambulance for you. Well, the EMTs, they're just going to pick you up and take you to the closest hospital to.
Yep, this happened to a friend of mine. He was in a car accident and he woke up in the ambulance, and I think the ambulance was $8,000 was how much he owed for the ambulance.
Get you the care that you need as quickly as possible, as they should. But again, the problem is that the closest hospital might not necessarily be the one that's in your network. And 2 hospitals just miles apart could be in 2 entirely different networks. In other words, you could be fucked over if you have a medical emergency, even if you have insurance. And this happens a lot. In fact, in 2022, 60% of ambulance rides were out of network, which means if they were lucky enough to survive, they'd face financial ruin. So going back to Sharon's tweet, her insurance company is kind enough to cover out-of-network costs so long as she ponies up a maximum of $1 million. After that, they'll cover the cost of everything after that.
I wonder if, because I'm guessing that they print that on the card as like a bit of a way of saying like we don't cover out of network costs, right? Like, I wonder if somebody was capable of paying $1 million, what they would do. I mean, like legally you'd probably have to, because it's like you're telling the person that if they pay more than that, because I bet you that number is just like a maxed out number in a computer system. And they're like, oh, okay, like we don't know what to put there, so we put that number there. That'd be hilarious if somebody could pay $1 million or more, and then they fucking had to actually pay for out-of-network
For that
costs.
first $1 million that she pays out of pocket. How generous of them. But I've got some more reactions. In response to Thompson's death, this person says United Healthcare has denied his claim for the ambulance
file for
ride
bankruptcy.
and ER
I'd
visit
have
because
to.
the claim was filled out incorrectly. That happens. Beth says United CEO should have had his primary care physician recommend bullet removal surgery months ago so he would know if he was treatable today. LOL Overruled says United Healthcare CEO denied access to life. Rachel says United Healthcare almost killed both of my parents. Good riddance, asshole. But let's look at some more comments in response to the news reports on CNN and MSNBC. So under the CNN video, people said, if you die from a preventable disease because your insurance was denied, that's murder too.
Fucking
Was
true.
this someone referring to the shooter ruined and driven mad by the U.S. healthcare system? The richest country in the world with some of the worst healthcare. Yeah, this was bound to happen.
Exactly.
This person says, and how many deaths is the CEO responsible for, I wonder? How many dying and suffering people did he profit off of? Very hard to have any sympathy here. Now on MSNBC's video, people are saying, are we sure that the gunshot wound wasn't a pre-existing condition? Claim denied. And finally, I wonder what he did to that man. I wonder what he and his company did to that man and his friends and family.
It's a
And just so we're
fucking
clear,
solid
this same
question. This is
sentiment
gonna be
was
a
shared
dope movie.
far and wide. Look in the comment section of any video and you'll see zero sympathy from Americans.
Niels!
But it goes so much deeper than that
Norway's
because
the
Americans
shit.
know that politicians are being bribed by these corporations and CEOs so that way they look the other way when these corporations
yeah,
rip us
cost
off
share,
and
I
kill us.
believe.
And
After-
some of
yeah,
them
after you
are
pay
getting
your
a real
out-of-pocket.
wake-up call when they're sending out their thoughts and prayers to this greedy CEO, and the comment sections, they're not too kind. In fact, they're pushing back very fiercely and actually calling out the corruption. For example, Amy Klobuchar responded to the news tweeting, "This is a horrifying and shocking act of violence. My thoughts are with Brian Thompson's family and loved ones, all of those working at United Healthcare in Minnesota." Now, as you can see, she was ratioed by the first response, who points out that
Damn.
United Healthcare is a major donor to her and other.
And see, this is the real problem. So this is one of the reasons that Trump won re-election. And that is a large majority of people in positions of power are completely out of touch with the citizenry. Completely. Like, I heard somebody the other day say, yeah, Trump's an asshole, but you know he's an asshole. He doesn't act like he's not an asshole. And that's what appealed to people. Now, do I think that's fucking stupid? Of course I think that's stupid. But do I hear what the guy's saying? Yeah, I do. And that is, people will take a person that is out front an asshole over a person that acts like they're honest, that acts like they're a good person, but behind the scenes is taking money from somewhere like United Healthcare, right? And obviously it's a conundrum. It's a very hard question to answer. Well, I don't think it actually is. I think you just overturn Citizens United and you just get fucking dark money out of politics. But where we stand right now is large corporations are capable of putting money in the pockets of our politicians, and it makes us feel as though we cannot trust them. Whether they're on the left, the right, they're independent, doesn't matter. We are at a time in our country specifically, and probably others throughout the world, where we have the all-time low of trust in our figures of authority. And there has to be something done about that, because the answer isn't vote for Trump. Trump isn't like you, he isn't like me. He's just a rich asshole that's like, yeah, I'm a rich asshole. That's the appeal. And I can't get with that. I cannot bring myself to ever be like, well, fuck it, at least he's honest. Like, that's not me. I'll never be able to be that person. So something else has to happen. And I truly believe that Citizens United needs to be overturned. I think the Chamber of Commerce needs to be fucking burnt down. Not legal advice, allegedly. I think that there should be 4 parties in our political system, and I think that they should all have equal time on TV or the internet, whatever the medium for commercials is nowadays. And they should have equal time in the debates. There shouldn't be you have to get 6% to get on the stage. It shouldn't be hosted by CNN or Fox News. It should all be paid for with tax money. Instead of our tax money going to, as we all agree on, there are things within our government where we overspend, where our tax dollars are not being used in the way we would like them to be used. It's one of the few places that, like, I actually agree with the idea of what Elon Musk and Vivek are supposed to do. I don't know that they'll actually do it, but one of the few places that I do agree is that our government has very little transparency about, like, what they spend money on, my money, your money on. And I can fucking guarantee you that there are certain things that I 100% would rather see my money being spent on debates and funding for campaign commercials than I would ever want to see my money spent on certain things in the government. I can't get to a point where I can really trust these politicians on the left or the right when they are receiving funding from places like that when it comes to things like this. Because really what that lady should be saying is, though I feel for this person and his family and his passing, I also understand why people are pushing back so fucking hard and don't have empathy for this human being. That's the human reaction to that, not her bullshit Twitter post. And that's why people love Bernie. Is because Bernie comes out and goes, Bernie, I haven't seen his tweet, but I can imagine a Bernie tweet would be something along the lines of, the killing was a horrific thing and it should never happen in our society, but the people in this country are fed up and they are tired of the bullshit and they are tired of lying politicians and they are tired of their money going to waste while they have no health care. That's why people love Bernie. Amy Klobuchar, if you take money from United Healthcare, shut the fuck up, sit down, do not tweet. You're just going to make it worse.
Others made similar statements. Bo Fort says, why don't you feel bad for the thousands and thousands of families that Brian has helped to put in bankruptcy while making millions and millions of dollars? How much does United Healthcare donate to you, Amy? Quinn says, up yours, Amy. You should be investigating that organization for crimes against humanity. That man murdered thousands of people. So don't you dare get on this platform and praise him or offer sympathy for his family, because they didn't have any for anyone else. Now, in case you were curious, she took more than $16,000 from United Health, but she wasn't the only one to face backlash, because Dean Phillips also reacted to the news, tweeting, I'm horrified by the assassination of my constituent, Brian Thompson, this morning in NYC, and have his family in my prayers. And that response was met with the same sort of replies like this one. Yes, all your other thousands of constituents just died writhing in pain from denials, but this special boy was assassinated. So as you can see, Americans are fucking pissed. And these politicians need to think deeply about why so many people are reacting to this news in this way. Their condolences come off as tone deaf, especially because people like Dean Phillip and Amy Klobuchar, they don't have that same sympathy for the victims of this CEO. And they never offer those people who lose family members because of these companies the same condolences. When they both ran for president, as a matter of fact, they were against Medicare for All, which is the one policy that would have put an end to this nightmarish so-called healthcare system that we have in the United States. And people like them and their ilk, they actually had the audacity to pretend like they were the ones defending us when they were arguing against Medicare for All.
Yep, and the reason that they're doing it is because they're more interested with getting the job than they are with helping the people. Because this is the exact reason why the left right now is floundering, is because instead of leaning hard into left-wing ideals like healthcare for all, they have to say things like, well, just like, we're not going to get any of the conservative vote if we say things like that. Instead we have to say things like, oh, well, no, like, we think like a balanced system is the way to go. And like I said, the problem with that is that no conservative wants to live in what a Democrat wants to put forth, right? So even if the ideas that the Democrat are putting forth are left-leaning, but with a conservative tilt or taint, then that conservative's still not going to vote for them, because that conservative's like, well, yeah, I'm glad that you don't believe that we should all have to pay for people's health care. That appeals to me, but the other 75% of the things you believe do not, so therefore I will continue to vote conservative. That's the problem with the left right now. The left is literally trying to play a game of, let's be the adult in the room, let's make sure that they get a little bit and we get a little bit. Meanwhile, the right is playing the game of, fuck the Democrats. We think everything they believe is crazy. Everything that they want to do is fucking out of this world. We don't want anything to do with any Democratic ideology at all. That's what they do. Meanwhile, the fucking left is over here going, you know, I know everybody in our party has said they want universal health care, but, you know, there's some people outside our party that don't like it. So we want to appeal to them. And that's fucking stupid.
And I say this because remember how during the 2020 Democratic Party primaries, when Bernie Sanders was pushing for Medicare for All, and they were screeching because they were talking about how his plan would be bad because it would abolish private insurance? Guess what? That's a good thing. That's what made his plan so damn good. We don't need private insurance. No matter how much they tell us we love the private insurance their donors give us and force us to buy, they will never trick us into believing it, because we have to deal with these leeches ourselves every fucking year. So you can't convince us that we like something we hate with a burning fucking passion. It feels like gaslighting. Now, there's one solution and one solution only. It's called Medicare for All.
And that's what's making left-wing voters angry, is the gaslighting. It's people on the left currently understand that the reasons that they're doing these things aren't in support of left-wing ideologies. It's in an attempt to bring in right-wing people to the left-wing ideology.
Say it with me, Medicare for All. It would offer comprehensive care to every single American, regardless of their income or location, and it would be free at the point of service. Would our taxes go up in order to fund this system? Yes, but that still means a net gain in money for us, since we'd no longer have to pay what is effectively a private tax to these insurance companies. It would reduce overall health.
Yeah, what was I was looking into Germany. And Germany pays like an extremely high amount of taxes, but their overall, like the coverage that they get for, what is it, education, healthcare. Fuck, there is something else too. I'm messing up here. But when you actually look at how much we pay for our healthcare, our education, and our taxes versus what Germany pays in total to get all those things given to them, it's like they actually pay less per year to live than we do. But it doesn't look that way because their percentage of taxes is like almost double what most of us pay here in America. And so to us in America, it's like, have you guys ever seen the meme where they say that they tried to sell a 1/3-pound burger, but Americans thought a 1/4-pound burger was bigger than a 1/3-pound burger? And so like it didn't work out. I don't know if that's a real story or not, but it is 100% fucking believable. And that is, Americans can't math. That's another reason why Trump is so fucking popular. Trump just like throws out numbers and Americans are like, that's a big number. Boy, do I like that. No, he said 3 trillion. That's right. There was 3 trillion people at his rally. That's fucking crazy. You know what? I can't even imagine what 3 trillion people looks like. That's so crazy. That's so many people. Like, they don't do math. And America as a whole don't do math. This is why shrinkflation works, right? It's like you have a $3.69 box of Cheez-Its for 12 ounces, and they know that they can shrink it to 10 ounces and still charge you $3.69, and you're not good enough at math to figure out what just happened to you. You're just like, oh, the price of Cheez-Its has stayed the same for 30 years. But you can't take something like Germany's taxes and explain them to Americans, because even if you do, even if you're like, well, look, they get education, they get healthcare, all of these things are paid for, and at the end of the year, actually, they pay less to live, to be alive, than you do. Americans are like, no, I pay 25% in taxes, and they pay 50%. They pay more than me. It's like, no, but you don't understand. You don't understand that you pay more for healthcare and education and all this other shit. No, 50% is more than 25. That's true. They pay more than I do. Like that's you just can't fucking convince Americans to do anything that's more complicated than 2 + 2 = 4. And if one of them thinks it's 5, they'll fucking fight you on it.
Healthcare spending, and it would drastically improve healthcare outcomes. But don't take it from me.
13.
Jason
you want me to
Lemon
tell you what
of
17
Newsweek.
times 13 is? 17 times 13, that's 117. 17 times 3 is 34. That's 51. 221?
Explains an analysis conducted by researchers at Yale University, the University of Florida, and the University of Maryland found that transitioning the United States to a single-payer healthcare system would actually save an estimated $450 billion each year, with the average American family seeing about $2,400 in annual savings. The research, which was published in the medical journal The Lancet, also found that Medicare for All would prevent about 68,000 unnecessary deaths each year. Quote, our study is actually conservative because it doesn't factor in the lives saved among underinsured Americans, which includes anyone who nominally has insurance but has postponed or foregone care because they couldn't afford the copays and deductibles, says Allison Galvani. And
Jesus. Anyways, was it? Nice. Still got it. I'm very good at math. Doing, what's it called? Common Core was hard for me because I do everything in my head, so helping my kids with Common Core was very hard. In fact, my poor kid has to deal with the fact that I taught him how to do that. Let's see. That's just I think that's all I can take of that. I think that's all I can take about the CEO. Let's watch this video because this is just the Channel 5 news guy who's been covering all these white supremacists in Tennessee. And this guy takes so much shit for this, and he does a really good job. But of course, white supremacists, not known for being the most welcoming and non-hateful people.
Fronting hate. Our exclusive News Channel 5 investigation continues, focusing this time.
Yes, I should tell you guys what this is, huh? Inside the influential white supremacist conference that calls Tennessee home away from home. This is the type of shit you're going to see more of, because when these people are emboldened.
On how Tennessee has become home for what may be the most influential white supremacist gathering in the country.
That's crazy.
Every year, a state park right here in Middle Tennessee hosts the so-called American Renaissance Conference, drawing 200 to 300 people from around the country, some of them the biggest names in the world of hate. So who are these people and what do they want?
Afford my
Our chief
Disney.
investigative reporter Phil Williams went to Montgomery Bell State Park in Dixon County to find out. Phil?
Well, out in the parking lot, we spotted cars from as far away as California, Texas, Florida, and yes, some from Tennessee.
Jesus. Dude, how committed to like your fucking LARPing white supremacy fucking shit do you have to be to fucking drive from California to Tennessee? Because he's saying he saw license plates with California on them. Like, that's a level of commitment I did not know actually existed in the white power movement. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, that is a level of commitment I did not think literally existed. They drove from California to Tennessee to fucking go to the white pride rally.
There to hear lectures that they believe will justify their white supremacy. But instead of...
Yeah, Agoff, Trump wants to drop it to 15. He wants to drop corporate tax to 15. Jesus Christ.
White robes and hoods, these attendees come in coat and tie. Here at Montgomery Bell State Park, the tranquility of a fall afternoon was interrupted.
What the fuck? Why are they... I mean, these guys aren't the white supremacists, obviously. But why are they doing this at a national park? Shouldn't this be at a Chuck E. Cheese? Shouldn't this be at like some shitty like bar in Tennessee somewhere? Like Kid Rock's bar? Isn't Kid Rock's bar in Tennessee? Fucking, shouldn't that be where white supremacists meet at? Why are white supremacists meeting up in a state park? That's a fucking weird place.
By the sounds of protest.
156 billion. Holy shit.
By a small group of anti-fascists upset over the return of the white supremacist American Renaissance Conference, an annual event that...
In Tennessee, they could only find like 6 people that weren't racist. They're like, yo, we're gonna go fucking counter protest these assholes, these white supremacists. Who's coming with us? And like 4 people were like, yeah, I'm not racist, I'll go. Everybody else is like, nah, we racist.
That's been held here at the Park's Lodge and Conference Center since 2012.
It's fucking insane, Jerome.
Don't ever come back here again.
No! You are not welcome here.
Y'all here for the conference?
Trying to avoid a clash that erupted 1 year between the two sides, park rangers...
Wait, hold on. Like, that's fucking so weird. That is so weird. Like, the fucking park rangers like, are you here for the conference? Go ahead and drop a brother on that. Are you here for the conference, brother? What the fuck? That is so strange. You know, when I read that Joe Moore book, though, it like changed it because I grew up with skinheads. You know, like where I spent my formative years, I grew up with skinheads, and like that's a different style, right? Like that's like bare, basic, gnarly, savage hate, right? Like those people, like where I grew up was very, very poor, very fucked up. Those people just like hate and like they're really like Neanderthal type human beings, cavemen, right? These people are like pulling up in their fucking family SUV, like just here for a day of white supremacy. Hello, brothers. I am here to say that I dislike the blacks. Where do I go to dislike the blacks with other white people? Like, what the fuck? I brought the chips. I hope somebody brought salsa, and I hope it's not too spicy. I have the acid reflux. I don't want... You know I can't eat the medium. What the fuck is this? My doctor said I can only drink Michelob Ultra. It's the white man's beer. What the fuck is going on here?
Rangers
Holy
set up a
shit.
security perimeter.
What's that, 40 cal?
Confining the Antifa protesters
Oh,
to the
will there
backside
be
of the
t-shirts?
lodge, separated from the conference.
I tried to register on the website, but it was really slow. What the fuck is going on in this world? People are bored. I mean, Benny's right. It is. It's the tiny glowing screens, dude. The Black Mirror. It's the Black Mirror. Fucking. Can you imagine some of these dipshits? Like, it's like, bro, I gotta ask for time off on Thursday. Well, why? You got a kid's soccer game or something? No, I gotta head on down to Tennessee. We got us a White Pride conference in the state park. We're gonna. Well, what do you guys do with that? Oh, we just get together and talk about how other races are inferior and really we just we play a little like board games and yeah, that's about it. Like, what the fuck? Like, somebody used their sick time for this. What the fuck is going on?
By a locked gate.
Basically, they invite some of the worst neo-Nazi hate groups into this park every single year to rally. You can see one of them right there.
In your mind, what's the difference between this
Oh,
and
they're
the KKK
Patriot Front
rally?
people.
Oh, there is no difference.
They're
the same
Patriot
people.
Front people.
The protesters made it very clear how they feel. We're about to head over to the conference center and talk to the man who's leading all of this.
And this is what I was talking about. So this is what Joe Moore was talking about. He's like, the KKK isn't what like I was talking about. Like, he's like, now it's dudes in suits, nice trucks, in suits, in corporate positions throughout America. He's like, this is not your grandfather's white power movement. These are people that have high level jobs, that have influence and connections, and they don't have swastikas on their forehead. They don't have a swastika on their chest. Maybe they do. Maybe you can't see it. But instead, these are dudes in suits. Like, that's like the crazy shit.
At the main entrance, we were allowed inside. This is very important.
And they wonder why people are still upset about systemic racism in corporate America. It's like, that's where it is now. That's where it exists now.
Sure, absolutely. Very important. These people can lose their jobs. Sure, absolutely. The girlfriends can jilt them. I mean, that's the kind of
Under the condition that we not take video of any of the participants'
They write
faces.
policy.
How would you
describe
the people who are attending this conference?
These are smart, observant, thoughtful Americans who see that our country is going in the wrong direction and has been going in the wrong direction.
And that's it. That's the sane washing, right? That's the sane washing. Oh my God, it's so crazy to hear that.
Direction for decades.
And your critics say you use, being smart, being intellectual as a cover for racism.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the smile. Yes.
What is racism, for heaven's sake? Racism.
Do you not know what racism is?
Well, nobody can really define it in any sensible, consistent way.
Jerry Taylor heads American Renaissance, which includes a website that promotes articles like how thousands of black behaviors opened my eyes and leaked emails.
What? Hold on. What? How thousands of black behaviors opened my eyes. What the fuck? I just can't. Like, I can't make myself. I can't put myself in these people's shoes, even though like I grew up with these with fucking crazy ass racist people, right? I can understand those people. I don't obviously agree with them, but I can understand them, right? Like, you're poor. Where I grew up was very segregated. It was very much like a prison. It was like, you had all the white trailer parks and prostitution and stuff in one area. And then you had this area that was all like the Hispanic, Latino people. And then you had another area that was all the African Americans. And then, Like the schools I went to, the area I went to was like, there's a lot of like Cambodians, Laotians. So it's very segregated. So you can understand, though you don't agree with them, you can understand why those people gain this mentality, right? Because they live in these really shitty places. They think nobody cares about them. They have very bad education. Most of those people never went to school. I mean, like my best friend dropped out in like the 6th grade. You know, he went back and forth because of fucking No Child Left Behind. And did eventually like go to high school a little bit, but like he literally, to be honest, dropped out in like 6th grade. So there's like very huge problems with lack of education, lots of violence, lots of crime. So even though like I don't agree, you can understand why those people would have these like shitty mentalities, right? They're just not smart people. This kind of like fucking how thousands of black behaviors opened my eyes. That's not something that anybody from my neighborhood would have written or read. Okay. It's a type of weird shit that I'm like, if you're fucking smart enough to write that article, then you should be smart enough to know the things that you are saying are fucking retarded. Jesus
showed the website was one often privately promoted by Trump advisor Stephen Miller.
What's the difference between what's happening here and a KKK
no opportunity.
rally?
Exactly.
I've never been to a KKK rally.
Xbox Pro is the fastest and easiest way to get pro vocal.
That dude, the way he said that,
It's like this.
I don't think I can believe him. I don't think I can believe him.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, one more time. One more time.
Leaked emails showed
Let's
the
hear
website
that
was
one more time.
often privately promoted by Trump advisor Stephen Miller.
What's the difference between what's happening here and a KKK rally?
I've never been to a KKK rally.
This motherfucker is evil.
I couldn't tell you.
Isn't the message the same, though?
That's a good point, actually, Cheyenne. Richard Spencer started the three-piece suit Nazi era. He made dressing nice to deliver the racist manifesto acceptable to camo dressing masses. Yeah, when you read, if you read Joe Moore's book, Broken Badges and White Robes, he kind of shows how that happened, how it went from like, because he spent a lot of time undercover in Florida. Yeah, I think all of his time was spent undercover in Florida. And like kind of like some of these backwater cities. And he talks about how like his original stint undercover was with these kind of like real like backwoods types of people, and how the second stint of him being undercover was in these like more professional groups, and how obviously those Klansmen also went on to become parts of the 3 Percenters, Patriot Front, Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, all of those groups, and how they became much more professional, how they started to really infiltrate police forces, corporate America, low-level government like the DMV, and specifically that there was a huge push to get white supremacists into the military, which I think is kind of I mean, I get what they're going for, but also if we go to war, like that kind of benefits us. Like fucking all the white supremacists get shot, so that's great. Fucking, we don't have to lose any of the good ones, any of our good people. Our good people get to stay safe at home, and all the white supremacists that infiltrated the military get to go get shot. So fucking woo, win-win.
I have no idea. I've never been to one.
But I am delighted to see groups and organizations cropping up.
But leaked video from the 2021 conference shows Taylor meeting with Thomas Rousseau, the head of the Patriot Front. That's the khaki-loving extremist group known for plastering communities.
Fucking goofiest motherfuckers ever.
Including the Nashville area.
Like, that's it. They're just a bunch of goofy bitches.
With their white supremacist slogans.
Patriot Front!
Thomas Rousseau! In fact, when we checked our video, that was Rousseau we had spotted on the bridge. Patriot Front later posted a group photo of them at this year's conference.
White people.
They do their thing, I do mine.
How about the neo-Nazis?
I don't even know a neo-Nazi.
Dude, I couldn't believe a single fucking word this guy says. No way. I don't even know one. Joe Moore, Cheyenne. The book is called Broken Badges and White Robes. It's either White Robes and Broken Badges or Broken... I don't have it down here with me. I think it's in my bathroom. I read it while I'm upstairs. Yeah, it's Joe Moore. He was an ex-military that had left the military, and he approached an FBI about a certain police officer that tried to screw over his brother-in-law. I think his brother-in-law got pulled over by this guy, and he approached the FBI to say, like, he thought that this guy was shady, and in doing so, the FBI guy was like, "Were you in the military?" And he was like, "Yeah, I was." He's like, "What if we offered you some work? Would you be willing to take it?" And the way that works is you have to like volunteer. They don't pay you anything. And it was actually a pretty fucked up time in Joe Moore's life, obviously. But it not only does it show you like what's going on with white supremacy in our country from the viewpoint of somebody who literally infiltrated the KKK, but also how fucked it is to be that person, because he spends months hiding out with his family, his wife and 2 children, waiting to get these guys put on trial. And, you know, obviously all of these guys have connections that make it extremely hard to prosecute them for the crimes. And so he spent months just like hiding out with his family, not allowed to do anything. He goes into debt because they can't give him any money. And he can't pay his bills because his bills create a paper trail. So, like, he literally went into debt, like, had to create a whole new identity. But even though you create a whole new identity, you still have the same social security number. So, like, yeah, like, it's crazy to see how the people that go undercover to infiltrate these groups actually get fucked by our own government after the fact, too. Insane.
But among this year's speakers was Austrian Martin Sellner, a neo-Nazi who plastered swastikas on a synagogue in 2006. And after some 50 people were killed at mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand in 2019, emails show Sellner had been in contact with the shooter. Although he was never charged with any wrongdoing, Sellner was barred from entering the U.S. and had to appear at the conference by video.
Why do they always have stupid haircuts? What is it with Nazis and weird haircuts? Like, they always have the funniest looking fucking haircut.
Do you not consider yourself a racist?
No.
Like other people at the...
No. He said no 3 times. No.
American Renaissance Conference, Taylor argues for a separation of the races, where whites don't have to be reminded of slavery, segregation, or the fact that racism still exists.
If leftists were consistent, they would be perfectly happy to say, yes, you white people, you torment all of these non-whites. Of course, we do not.
But white people did.
Well, hold on. Why can't you let me finish?
You keep wanting to gloss over the history.
I'm not denying the history at all. What have I...
Dude, anybody that talks like that, oh my God. It makes me want to vomit. I'm not denying the history at all. Oh God, that's so gross. Like, those, you cannot take people like that at their word. Like, you know, like, dude, why are you talking like that, bro?
Have I glossed over? Of course, there's been slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, lynching. I'm not denying anything.
From the old posters? Yeah, probably, right?
Yet when I pressed Taylor on how he and others at the conference would separate the races...
If you want that white-only land, why don't you go find somewhere else to live?
What do you mean, find someplace else?
Where do you want the people of color to go?
I don't want them to go anywhere.
He was short on specifics.
So it sounds like you're advocating for something that you have no idea how it would work.
Oh, I have a good idea how it...
Yeah, because they LARP. They're LARPing. That's, like, I think one of the facts that, like, no one understands. All of these people lack any type of real purpose, any meaning in their life, right? They get up, they go to their work. Some person of color at some point in their life said something mean to them and made them feel insecure and powerless. And now they've began this experience of LARPing. And that is that they're going to remove this element, this element that made them feel insecure and powerless. They're going to remove them from society. This is like the same LARPing that goes on with the transgenders and bathroom shit. There is no way, no effective way, even if you wanted to keep transgender people out of bathrooms, to do it. Because, as I pointed out before, there's lots of transgender people that look very much like hot women or good-looking men that have transitioned. You wouldn't be able to facilitate the type of thing that these people want to talk about. Instead, they're LARPing. They're creating this scenario that allows them to have power over other people by driving them into their reality and getting them to believe the things that they believe, even if a person with any critical thinking skills at all would be able to be like, well, none of that even makes sense. How would you make that not? How would you get rid of all of the brown people? How would you enslave? Just think about that. So their idea, most likely, their plan would be, well, the white man takes power, takes control, and eventually, through subvertive means, we push other ethnicities down to a place where they have no power or ability to fight back, therefore, in some way, virtually enslaving them. It's like, oh, so you mean what's going on now? You mean this? That's already happening. It's like the upward movement of marginalized communities is already inhibited by history, by the fact that you've already got a head start on them that is almost impossible to overcome. It's almost so impossible to overcome that one African American becomes successful and we all point at him and go, look, no, they're doing good. They're doing good now. It's LARPing. It's LARPing. He knows that the society that he lives in now is more in line with what he believes than even a society that he can create in his head. You're not going to get the rest of the United States of America to agree with you, anybody with a fucking brain, that marginalized or minorities should be enslaved again. Maybe in Alabama. I might be wrong about that. There might be a state or two, I'll be honest with you. But when you look at a state the size of California, 39 million people, we make up 39 million Americans in California, the most liberal place. Not that we don't have conservatives, not that we don't have problems with white power and white supremacy and stuff like that, but we are the most liberal state and the most voluminous. So just the idea that you're going to get all of these people to agree with you, and one day you're going to re-enslave all of these, other ethnicities is fucking stupid. And it's just a reason for them to wake up each day and put on their shoes, put on their suit, and go out and hate. Because it gives them meaning, it gives them purpose, it keeps them from having to figure out that there is no fucking real reason for them to be here. There isn't. It's just eat and fuck, dog. That's it. And that makes them sad inside. And then a brown person says something mean to him and was like, and I can back it up by punching you in the face. And that guy was like, oh, I don't like that. It makes me feel insecure and powerless. And so they started LARPing, that there's some kind of more superior race.
It would work.
You just told me you didn't.
Well, the practicalities of it. I think it's entirely possible that
that'd be great. 40, we have to work on it.
Might secede. There is a considerable secessionist movement all around the country today.
So you are in favor of secession, breaking up the United States.
I'm a believer in separation.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
There's a couple of states that I wouldn't mind if they seceded. Of course, I think that they should secede, and then I think that we should immediately invade them. Here on the Angry Ginger Show, you get my honest opinions. I'm just saying, let them secede, and then fucking send the National Guard in. That's all I'm saying. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. See, white people can't make shit like this.
Amazingly divine.
Then, as we prepare to head out,
Why are none of you showing your names or badge numbers?
The last time we saw the protesters, they were at a dock across from the lodge. Now they're apparently heading.
I like the way he's talking all low. Like he's watching like these are zoo animals. He's like, what we have here, you see, we have a bunch of undercover racist police officers, and they're fighting back against the Antifa that are right over here. We don't want to disturb them. We don't want to startle them, okay? Because these police officers have been known at times to accidentally shoot people. We don't want to startle them.
Having some sort of standoff with police here.
No,
Build the wall.
They want to kill people.
we soon discovered protesters had attempted to
Yeah,
get closer
glasses
to the
on.
main entrance, hoping to be
Hard
able
to-
to
hard to
confront
wear a
conference
mask with some
attendees
glasses
more
on.
directly.
So you're wanting to go down to the lodge?
We are wanting to go anywhere on public property that we are constitutionally allowed to do, and they are inhibiting that. But yes, specifically, we would like to go down towards the lodge where they are expressing their speech, and we'd like to likewise express our own.
Yeah, wait, why can't they? Hold on. Somebody help me out with the laws here. Because isn't it a state park? Aren't you allowed to go wherever you want in a state park as long as you're not like breaking any of the rules?
They will kill everyone you care about.
Yet as I watched the determination,
God damn it, the left is always trying to explain things to people. The poor left, they're like, look, I have critical thinking skills, and I can tell you right now that these people, they don't like you, they don't like me, and fucking the person they're talking to is just like, Jesus.
of the protesters, I was also reminded of Jerry Taylor's own determination and his insistence
rabid
that
MAGA
he
in their
believes he
native
and his
territory.
group are wearing down the resistance.
I think they've kind of given up. I mean, we're going to be back here, whether they like it or not.
Dude. See? Let me just be honest, and I'm gonna say this. Remember what Mike said? Look deep into my eyes. Look deep into my eyes. Know my thoughts, guys. Because what I am about to say could possibly be my last day on YouTube. If, say, somebody, United Healthcare CEO, this guy, I would have zero empathy. No empathy. If you told me tomorrow that this motherfucker fell down a set of stairs and just didn't get up at the bottom ever again, I'd be like, hooray! Awesome! If you told me that this motherfucker was crossing the street and a bus ran him over and then backed up a few times just to make sure, I would probably drink a couple drinks in celebration. Allegedly. Though I would never, ever say that I hope that things like that would happen. I'm just saying if they did, I would not be sad.
Yeah, we're not going to change Jared Taylor's mind. He's not going to change ours. That's not why we're here. We're here to let the
What's up,
public
Fatty
know
here?
that this
Go
will
on,
not
Fatty.
stand in our state of Tennessee. That's all I have. Yeah.
But as you saw there, Jerry Taylor and his white supremacist friends feel they have the advantage, 200 or 300 of them, to compare to maybe a dozen protesters.
Dude.
So they feel welcomed here, plus they get an army of law enforcement there to protect
Exactly, 40.
their First Amendment rights to have
We should have a
and
point
express
system.
those views.
Really eye-opening. Who pays for all that extra law enforcement?
Well, as you might imagine, you and I do. A few years back, the state of Tennessee tried to charge them for.
Yeah, how crazy is that? State taxpayer money going to protect white supremacists. What the fuck is... Like, this country is insane. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I know I celebrate our insaneness sometimes because, I mean, really that is the reason that people don't invade us is because we're fucking wacky as shit. But come on, man. There's got to be a line. There's got to be a line. It's so fucking crazy. I'm not paying so that way, like, those guys got to provide their own fucking security, dude. Like, that's the way that should be.
The security associated with this conference, but a federal judge ruled that such fees were unconstitutional.
Interesting. Phil, thank you. Sounds like we all can keep shining a light on this. More stories to come.
Dude, what a fucking, like, everybody just like, yeah, so anyways, That's fucking crazy. All right, well, thanks, Bill. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird, dude. Oh, that's America. Freedom is scary. Yeah. Holy shit, man. Okay, all right. Well, that's that. Let's watch one more before. Let's watch one more before we call it a day. I did want to watch. Maybe we'll watch this. I'll tell you guys what. I've been Path of Exile 2 came out, so I'll download Path of Exile 2 down here on this computer and see if it'll run on this computer, and then we'll do a gaming stream where we watch the Luke Beasley video. We'll watch Luke Beasley pound a Trump supporter for an hour, all while playing Path of Exile 2. Okay, that's what we'll do. That's on the docket. I promise. For now, we'll watch Titus talk about Biden.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Well, he did it. We
Sports
knew
tonight,
he was a
Bill.
corrupt scumlord. Oh, my God. Biden pardoned Hunter. He pardoned his son. What? The son that took two...
Hold on. Is that a bong? Is that a bong? Is that a crack bong? Is that a thing? Look, I've seen crack pipes. I grew up around crackheads. I know all about the utensils they use. I've never seen a crack bong before.
Billion from Saudi? Whoa. No. That's the other guy's son. All right, the
No.
son that stole from a kid's cancer charity? What? No. That's the other guy's other son. So Hunter got charged with an $8 million fine on a real estate scam? No. That was the other guy's other son who was charged and fined $8 million. And that son's father was ordered to pay $500 million for tax evasion, and
God.
78 million of you voted for him.
Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Hold on. What the fuck was that? Was that AI? Or is that real? Was that real? What the fuck? How did I not know about this? What the fuck is this? Just Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin out for a fucking little picnic. We're just gonna go see a movie, maybe stop by a McDonald's, see the Donald. What? This is like some fucking reality breaking shit right here. Putin driving Kim Jong-un around. This is so fucking weird. That is so weird.
Didn't expect that reaction.
I knew America was dumb, but I was dumb in not knowing the level of the dumb acidness America's dumb.
I told you guys. I said we're going to find out. I was like, we're going to find out exactly how stupid America has become. And boy, did we find out.
Asses have truly reached.
Jesus Christ.
I'll hand you checks.
So, what did I...
Dude, those pictures are on the internet for the rest of time. Just imagine, guys, after World War III, and we've all nuked each other into fucking oblivion, and then like 40, 50,000 years later, somebody's going to like fucking uncover a hard drive. They're going to dig up a hard drive. It's going to have some fucking Bitcoins on it, okay? I'm going to have Bitcoins and pictures of Trump supporters on it. And they're going to be like, I know what happened. I see now. Like, this is going to be the evidence of our downfall in history.
Did Hunter get away with? What did this criminal mastermind do? What was Hunter charged with after 3 years of the GOP climbing up Hunter's ass?
The same thing I just checked the box for the other day. I, too, one day may find myself needing a pardon because I as well have checked boxes on California state forms.
His business dealings, his relationships, his imaginary laptop, which, by the way, we've never seen. You notice the laptop just disappeared? Then,
you know who, when I first started doing the show, people would come here from Hal Sparks. And Hal Sparks has one of the most legit arguments that the laptop doesn't exist. Like, somebody came in and they were like, do you think that the laptop exists? And I was like, well, I'm sure that Hunter Biden has a fucking laptop, you know? He's a crackhead. Like, he was fucking sleeping with prostitutes. He's taking pictures of his dong. Like, does he have a laptop? Probably. That's not the kind of thing you do on a desktop, okay? Those types of things you do on your phone or on your laptop, all right? And the guy was like, go listen to Hal Sparks, his argument on this, and then tell me whether or not you agree. And so I went and I listened to it, and I was like, holy shit, that is a legit argument that the laptop does not exist. And I still don't know how I feel about it. I do believe that the laptop exists. I just don't believe that all the shit that Republicans claim, that it all adds up to what they think, right? Like, I think that, do I think Hunter Biden did some, you know, underhanded, shady shit as the son of a politician? 100%. Do I think that politicians do stuff for their kids that seem underhanded, immoral, and shady? Yes, 100%. But do I think that anything that they did was illegal is the question. And, I mean, obviously smoking crack cocaine is illegal, but I support it. I myself don't smoke crack cocaine, but if you want to, fuck. This is not drug advice. Allegedly. It's on you, though. I don't fucking care what you do, okay? I'm just saying. I don't want to see pictures of your dong. That's my one ask, okay? You can crack cocaine up whatever you want. Just no pictures of your dong, please. Women don't want it. Neither does the angry ginger.
And after Republican witnesses said in front of Congress,
I do not believe that the current evidence would support articles of impeachment.
So they finally charged him with checking the wrong box on a gun purchase form.
The craziest thing about this, and this is what makes me like irritated with the left, is when the left refuses to call out the hypocrisy of something like this. I don't know if it's just people aren't smart enough on either side to clearly see how hypocritical this is, or if it's just that the right triggers the left so hard so often that they get so mad and they see red and can't think logically while speaking to fucking MAGA. It is extremely hypocritical of the right to think that Hunter Biden should have even been prosecuted for checking that box. Because if you are a right-wing person, you do not agree that you should have to check that box. You believe that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. Like, you believe, if you're on the right, that guns are so untouchable that they are more important than the lives of children. They are more important than the safety of children going to school. If you are on the right and you think that Hunter Biden should be prosecuted for checking the box that said that he was not a drug addict when he bought the gun, you are so full of all of the shit. All of it. It floweth the fuck over. It's coming out of your ears, your nose, your eyeballs, every orifice. There's no fucking way that you are pro-Second Amendment and also think that Hunter Biden should have been prosecuted for that crime. I'm on the left. I'm for gun control. I don't agree that box should exist. It's fucking stupid. It literally asks you whether or not you are currently an alcoholic, smoke marijuana, or are addicted to any other drug. Like, if we are actually going to start enforcing this law, they need to put fucking everybody that has ever bought a gun in jail. Every single person. You're telling me that there are people out there that fucking have guns that don't drink, don't smoke, never done a drug? There's going to be like 30 people left with guns. One of them is going to be fucking Donald Trump. That's scary.
Let me say that again. They charged him with checking the no box on the question, have you ever used or are currently using
Everybody
drugs?
knows this.
I mean, they could have just gone to his website and watched the videos of him doing drugs. Say hello to my little friend.
Dude, this ad gets me every time. This could be the last ad you'll ever
Crack's
see.
greatest
That's
hits.
fucking scary. Yeah, where's the NRA on this one? Exactly.
Hunter never used the gun. He didn't have ammunition for the gun, and the gun was taken away by his girlfriend. He was also charged with failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. $1.4 million.
And once again, if you're Republican, you don't hate tax evasion. This is what I'm saying. This is what drives me nuts about the left. The left should just be fucking browbeating the right about this. The left should be like, look at how hypocritical all of you motherfuckers are. They should never, ever, ever stop talking about how hypocritical it is for the right to complain about taxes, to complain about gun laws, and then be like, Hunter Biden needs to go to prison for it. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Not 258 million tax theft like this guy, who isn't going to jail for his tax theft or his 34 felonies.
That's what I'm saying.
Or for his raping a woman or for his stealing and keeping top secret classified documents, including nuclear secrets.
Exactly.
Yeah, nothing's happening to this guy. In fact, the idiots voted him back in. Fucking morons.
It's fucking.
The deal was done.
It just reminds me of Anchorman. We are laughing. We are laughing.
Hunter would pay the taxes, pay the fine, and the gun form
prove
charge
I in hell.
that no one is ever charged with would go away. If he stayed a law-abiding citizen for 2 years, it was over. But the deal fell apart after this judge, Mary Ellen Norica, who is a Trump judge, decided, nah, he checked the wrong box.
Why does she look like Amy Conant? She looked just like Amy Conant, dude. If you told me that was Conant, just like she was having an off day or no makeup, 100% I believe you.
He needs to burn. And his dad.
Yeah, I'll be checking no also. Everybody checks no, right, Melissa?
We ever had, one who had 1 million die and made us a worldwide joke.
Like when you're filling out the form to buy a firearm, you're like, does anybody ever check the yes button? like literally it's like, are you an illegal immigrant? No. Are you currently high on crack cocaine? Maybe. No. Are you going to commit a crime with this weapon? I shit you not. This is one of the questions that's on the form. Are you going to commit a crime with this weapon? No. It's like the dumbest shit. I had an easier time filling out that portion of the form because I was like, all of these questions are obviously no because I don't want to go to prison. Like, I'm not going to fucking check the yes button so that way you guys can come get me. Even if I did do that shit, that's dumb. Who the fuck does that? I had an easier time filling that out than I did filling out my ethnicity. Okay? I filled out, I was like, white. And the lady looked at me and she was like, Hispanic or non-Hispanic? And I was like, white. And she's like, yeah, no. It's a two-part question. It's white, and then is it Hispanic or non-Hispanic white? And I'm like, non. It took me a minute. I was like, fuck. Why are these questions so hard?
This guy is a great man who pardoned his son for a crime no one is ever
they'd
charged
hand you the form
with.
back and they'd be like, no,
Biden
you
has
click
issued
no.
26 pardons as president.
Click
Trump
no.
issued 226 pardons, most of them for a cadre of dollar store Batman.
Yeah, that's another one. Another one is are you mentally ill? What mentally ill person ever fucking checks the box, yes, I'm mentally ill? Part of being mentally ill is you don't really know that you're mentally ill. No one's like fucking, well, I do fucking hear voices. I should probably be honest on the gun form. Jesus Christ.
And villains who helped plan and execute an insurrection. He's given a convicted felon the ambassadorship to France.
Yep.
The father of his son.
Yeah, speaking of people pardoning their fucking family members, that's Jared Kushner's father. If you don't know what Jared Kushner's father did, Jared Kushner's father paid for a prostitute to set his brother-in-law up with so that way he could videotape it so that way he could then send it to his own sister, so that way he could get them divorced. And then, when he did that, which is apparently illegal to do that in so many different fucking ways, his sister went on to testify against him to get him put in prison for doing that thing. And then Donald Trump was like, yeah, let's let him out. Like, what the fuck is really going on with these people? And now he's the ambassador to France. The guy that paid for a prostitute to set up his brother-in-law to potentially try to get his sister divorced is now our ambassador to France. Solid. Fucking solid.
He also pardoned Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Michael Flynn, and every
Charles
other
Kushner
felon in another
definitely
country
checks yes.
that has the rule of law would be in jail until they died. You know, we used to have the rule of law here in America, remember? We don't anymore. Let's have a moment of silence for the rule of law. Trump, the convicted felon, the civilly convicted rapist, the fake college scammer who whores gold sneakers and illegal guitars that he can't even play.
Did you guys see this one? I think they are $10,000 for one of these guitars, and they got a cease and desist letter from Les Paul because Les Paul owns the patent for that shape of guitar. So they got a cease and desist. I doubt they never listen to cease and desist though. I guarantee they'll still sell them. I guarantee they'll still sell them.
And can't even put pictures of his real self on his trading cards because no one wants a picture of an obese diaper.
I would literally actually buy that trading card. If you sold me a fat Trump card, I'd fucking buy that shit. Not for much. I mean, I only pay like $1.25. $1.25 is the most I'm giving. $3.50, maybe $3.50. Okay, but I would buy that. That would go in my man cave for fucking sure. And when people are like, "Oh, you like Trump?" I'd be like, "No." It's for posterity's sake. I have a picture of him to remind me every day how fucking stupid America is. God damn it. You can't have a medical marijuana card and a gun, Melissa. What? Like, do people understand? Like, this is my main problem. I don't smoke anymore. I smoked for 20 years. That shit makes me fucking, gives me the anxiety now. I don't smoke anymore. But when I did smoke, I can tell you this. The last thing I wanted to do was shoot a gun while I was high, okay? Like, I wasn't, like, sitting around, like, fucking listening to Bob Marley. Oh, shit, fucking don't worry, be happy. Oh, dude, where's my fucking 9 at? I never thought, while smoking the ganja, about doing a drive-by or robbing a bank. Fucking, like, it was, like, the last thing on my mind. Now, after a couple glasses of tequila, I'm like, I could head to the range. I'm fucking Superman right now. Dude, I am the most confident I've been in a long time. I bet I could hit that bullseye over and over again. And that's the same thought everybody has right before they accidentally pull the trigger and shoot their fucking toe off. All right? Like, nobody is smoking weed and then being like, you know what I'm going to do today? Commit some atrocities. I can't. The stupidity of America, just like, it fucking drives me up a wall. I don't know how to fix it. We have such a fucking weird mixture of old ass people that have no connection with reality, billionaires that have no connection with reality, and a group of fucking voters that are clearly like, even though these people have none of my best interests in mind and clearly are not connected to fucking reality, you know what? I think they should be in charge.
Wearing bankrupt trader, so they put his head
you just want to play
on
guitar,
Rocky's body,
smoke the weed,
and dummies
eat the
bought
chips.
It.
We're laughing.
This guy, the guy with 3,500 lawsuits for screwing over and not paying vendors, the guy who stole top secret nuclear and classified documents, and who tried to end the government, the traitor, the sadist.
I just like that in the day of AI, that's not AI. In the day and age of Photoshop, where you practically can't believe anything, this is real. Our government secrets, perhaps our nuclear capabilities, the nuclear capabilities of the Five Eyes, our foreign allies, just sitting on the stage with the flimsy cardboard top in the room where they throw parties. Jesus Christ. How dumb. This is what makes me mad. Let me get this out. This is what makes me mad when somebody comes into my chat. Specifically, when a left-wing person comes in my chat and goes, "Stop calling them dumb. You're part of the problem. You're making them want to vote for Trump more." This is dumb. And I'll be damned if I call it anything else. If I'm going to call it anything else, I'm going to call it stupid, moronic, fucking batshit crazy. But the one thing I'm not going to do is stop calling it stuff. It's dumb. These people are dumb. Anybody that thinks that the fucking secrets of our fucking government should be sitting on a stage in Mar-a-Lago, unprotected for anybody to go through, is dumb. They're morons. Literally, low IQ people.
You tried to end the government, the traitor, the seditionist, the rapist, the pedophile's best friend isn't going to jail. He's going back to the White House. Good game, idiot.
Yeah, if you fucking want the Epstein files released, and at the same time you don't think that Donald Trump is going to be in those files, you are dumb. You're dumb. There is countless fucking instances of this being dumb. It's dumb. They're dumb. He's dumb. God damn it.
Hey, at least he didn't check the wrong box on a form. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. I think I just lost it. I'm not even mad anymore. I think it's hilarious.
It's me too.
I'm just going to sit back and watch it burn. Is that what you guys want? You know what you did the first time? You know what you're going to do the next time. And Hunter, for God's sake, the wrong box. Jail time!
Oh my God. Yep, it's dumb. I'm sorry. It's fucking dumb, dude. It's dumb. It's fucking stupid. I'm not playing this game. I don't have empathy for the CEO, and I'm not going to stop calling it dumb. Guys, this is my lane, okay? This is my lane. If I have one thing and it makes me unique in content creation or the media or whatever the fuck you want to call this weird shit we're doing, it is that I'm just going to tell you what I think, and it's not going to be sanitized. It's not going to be, well, I have to say it because I don't want to hurt the feelings of others, or, you know, I have to look like a certain type of person or else no one's going to subscribe and watch my stream. If it's just me, Cajun, Benny, Golf, and I'm just calling people dumb, I'm okay with that. I'm fucking okay with that. If there is a limited amount of people that are willing to watch my show because I call the shit that Trump supporters do dumb, then so be it. If there is a limited amount of people that are going to watch my show because I say I understand why people don't have empathy for a CEO of a healthcare fucking corporation that rejects the claims of 1/3 of the people that make them, I'm okay with that. I don't care. I'm fine with that. It's dumb, and that guy doesn't deserve empathy. And it's fucking oligarchy. Yeah, you're not gaslighting me, motherfucker. Not gaslighting me. Okay? I'm not gaslighting anybody else either. I'm fucking just telling you guys what's up. And you either agree, you disagree, whatever. It's all good. All right, guys. Well, like I said, I made a promise. Oh yeah, 310, dude. Oh no, 312 is the one I was thinking about. 312, 310. I don't know, Alan. That might be one that I just check in on. I'm waiting for 312. 312 is gonna be pretty dope. 312's lineup looks fucking amazing. Yeah, I'll probably watch it. I probably will. If I don't, I promise I will download some Path of Exile 2 on this computer, and we will watch the Luke Beasley video for those of you that want to check out the gaming streams. Gaming streams, just like I pop on, pop off. It's just whenever I have the time to do them. So I do make the promise, though, that I will attempt to get that on the channel, and that we will do a gaming stream within the next couple days, hopefully. Either tonight or tomorrow night. All right, guys. Well, I love you guys. Do your best to stay sane out there, guys. Stay safe, stay sane, and stay you. You know what? They don't like it. Fuck them. Be you guys. Be you guys. All right, guys. I love you guys.